So Karlach obviously is the best girl in the Faerun.
Go on.
She's tough, kind, hilarious, and she's all about smiting her enemies with infernal rage.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Hello, this is Chaotic Loot, and today we are making a lore-friendly build for this amazing character. When we first meet Karlach, she is on the run from Zariel's servants. Zariel, the archdevil of Avernus, wants to keep Karlach in her fiendish grasp. Karlach's been fighting on the devil's side against demons for years. This intense combat experience set her up perfectly as a barbarian in the game. Additionally, she's naturally possessed the ability called Searing Smite, a spell that unfortunately can be used in the heat of barbarian fury. But hold on, isn't that a bit of contradiction? Well, yes, this actually highlights Karlach's inner conflict, which will run through the entire game. Does she show allegiance to the Nine Hells, or should she carve her own path by standing up for the oppressed? And her initial character levels will reflect the battle-hardened prowess she gained from Infernal Wars. Now, before we dive in, please let us know what in your opinion her truly law-intended build would be. Full barb levels or some multi-class? It's interesting to know different opinions. Okay, while I'm writing, let's tweak Karlach's stats a bit. We are going for 16 strength, 14 dexterity, 16 constitution, 8 intelligence, 10 wisdom and 10 charisma. At level 1, barbarians gain rage. For now, Karlach can unleash her rage 2 times before the long rest as a bonus action. That means extra damage with melee and improvised weapons. Plus, throwing stuff gets a boost. And physical damage she takes is halved when she is in rage. But there is a catch. Barbarians can't cast spells or concentrate on them while raging. Also, we get unarmored defense, which let us add constitution modifier to armor class when we are not wearing any armor. However, this ability will never be better than a good medium armor, that's just true. Moving on level 2, we are sticking with our barbarian and having a reckless attack. With this, we attack with advantage, but enemies attack us with advantage too. No pain, no gain, right? This ability is also acting like a soft taunt. Enemies will be more incentivized to hit us, because they will do so with advantage. Also, at level 2 we unlock Danger Sense. Think of it as Karlach's super tiefling reflexes, giving her an advantage in dexterity saving throws against traps, spells and surfaces. Really handy, especially when you see that fireball coming your way. Onward to level 3. Time to pick a subclass. For extra survivability, we are going for Bear Heart of Wild Heart. When we rage, we will resist all damage types except Psychic. Plus, Bear Heart throws in a bit of healing for that extra Bear Hug love. Level 4 folks. Our first feat is up for grabs and we are going big with Great Weapon Master. We are taking a -5 penalty to hit, but in return we are dishing out an epic +10 damage. And oh yes, if Karlach crits or finishes off a target with a melee weapon, she gets another swing as a bonus action. It's like a buy one get one deal for hits. Now, level 5 introduces an extra attack, and this is our final barbarian stop. At this point, which is around the end of Act 1, Karlach is really working on taming her inner firestorm. To reflect this burning ambition, we are going to pick a class that's all about fighting injustice, fearlessly defending the vulnerable, and giving some payback to the wicked. We are going Paladin. At level 6 we are Paladin level 1 and we'll get an excellent healing ability, Lay on Hands. What's neat? It's not a spell, so you can heal even when you are in full rage mode, and introducing Divine Sense for striking Celestials, Fiends and Undead with advantage. On this level, Paladins also take an Oath. For Karlach, Oath of Vengeance seems like a match made in Avernus. With Inquisitor's Might, you can add extra radiant damage equal to a Charisma modifier, minimum of 1, and possibly daze enemies for 2 turns with a bonus action. But remember, using it on heavily armored targets may not work well since they don't benefit from Dexterity Armor class bonus, which gets lost when the target is dazed. Now, remember our 0 Charisma modifier? Yeah, we are working on that. Stay tuned. Level 2 Paladin, character level 7, here comes the fighting style choice, and we are picking defense, because we are wielding two-handed weapons and need to compensate for the lack of the shield. Paladins also gain spellcasting and first level spells, but guess what? We are not touching them. Instead we are putting all our spell slots into ultimate Paladin move, Divine Smite. When you land a hit with a melee weapon attack, you can spend a spell slot to add radiant damage to your attack. This bonus damage starts at 2d8 for a first level spell slot, and the higher spell slot you expand, the more explosive it gets. And if your target is undead or a fiend, let's say they'll be feeling particularly crispy. One slick trick, wait for the crit and double the damage dice, including the Divine Smite damage for some truly epic results. Remember, under a Barbarian's Rage, we can't cast or concentrate on spells, but not every battle requires us to use Rage. Sometimes we are dealing with the common riffraff, so go ahead and pick some spells that tickle your fancy, or maybe ones that can be used outside the combat. Just keep in mind, while your Charisma modifier is a tad low, spells like Command might not be as effective. However, Sanctuary, Bless, and soon Lesser Restoration and Aid will not have this problem. Level 3 as a paladin and ace overall is where I believe it's time for Karlach to fully commit to becoming the best paladin she can be. It's time to pay a visit to our bony friend and reshuffle her abilities. We are sticking with 16 strength, 14 dexterity for +2 bonus to AC and medium armor, slightly lower 14 constitution and 14 charisma. Wisdom and intelligence, well, they might feel a little left out. Sorry, that's the cost of the barbarian paladin highway, but no one can take away our past. Karlach remains at her core a barbarian, but the path of the Righteous Avenger now plays a significant role in her identity. With this respect, we'll take 3 levels in Barbarian and 5 levels in Paladin. At the 4th level, we'll choose Great Weapon Master, Steel, and at the 5th level, we'll gain an additional attack. We'll also receive bonuses and quite a lot of bonuses from our Paladin Oath. Abjure Enemy allows us frighten enemies, while Vow of Enmity lets us attack one chosen enemy with advantage. This ability works well against big bosses instead of suffering penalties from reckless attack, but that's not all. The bonuses from our 5th level Oath include the spells Hold Person and Misty Step, and Misty Step is an amazing ability for any character in this game. Moving on, we continue taking levels in Paladin. At the 6th Paladin level, we gain one of the best defensive abilities in the game, Aura of Protection. This ability grants you and nearby allies a bonus to saving throws equal to your Charisma modifier. This is why we prioritize Charisma and why we won't be heavily affected by low intelligence and wisdom. I guess when you are charismatic, brains can take a back seat. Level 7 Paladin, character level 10. Time to tap into Relentless Avenger. Hitting an enemy with an opportunity attack makes your movement speed spike by 4.5 meters on your next turn. Trust me, every close combat character in the game will enjoy extra movement speed. Level 8 Paladin, character level 11. It's fit choosing time and boy oh boy, it's a tough choice. On one hand, boosting strength seems pretty nice for landing hits and adding damage and increasing your leaping distances, but then there is a whole lot of feats we like to take. Polearm Master and Sentinel is strong combo in tabletop D&D and in this game too. Lucky for advantage on demand. Mage Slayer because enemy casters need a reality check sometimes. Martial Adept, you get those superiority dice and maneuvers for extra options in combat, or even Mobile for movement speed increase and some extra features. A potential solution to consider could involve utilizing the Elixir of Healed Giant Strength, which you can find, buy or craft. This elixir grants a temporary boost to our strength, raising it to 21. And this effect lasts until we complete a long rest. It's worth noting that these elixirs and their required ingredients aren't frequently encountered. Nonetheless, if your group includes a bard, the ability to provide an additional short rest can effectively prolong the time between your long rests. This strategic approach enables you to make more efficient use of the elixirs and empowers you to select the previously mentioned feats without concerns about your subpar strengths. But if you want to avoid a headache with elixirs and feat choices, simply opt for a strength increase to 18 at this level, and at the final 12th level you could take one level in Barbarian, gaining another feat and raising your strength to 20. Though personally I would have chosen Polearm Master at the previous level and Sentinel at this one. This combo lets you, armed with a polearm weapon like a halberd or spear, attack when an enemy enters your melee zone, which is extended if you are wielding such a weapon. Sentinel grants advantage on these attacks, halting enemy movement upon them taking damage. It also allows you to strike back if they attack an ally close to you. This style nicely embodies the idea of defender character who keeps enemies near and protects allies. Any lack of strength could be compensated with alchemy. And let's discuss Karlach's equipment choices. Before we opt for the Polearm Master Fit, any two-handed weapon will suffice. Great swords offer consistent damage, Axes will grant you a nice prepare skill for extra damage, and bludgeoning weapons carry a pleasant bonus of dealing damage even on misses, along with extra damage against skeletons. Upon choosing the Polearm Master Pass, we'll focus on the best available halberds or spears. The good news is these options are well represented throughout the game. In the ranged weapon slot, you can go for any bow or crossbow with impactful hit effects. However, for greater damage, seek out magical weapons with the thrown property. Javelins come in handy when enemies are out of immediate reach. And to reach them more easily, we can use the Haste Helm for a significant portion of the game, although some players have reported inconsistent triggering of the helm's effect. When it comes to armor, opt for the best medium armor accessible to you. Adamantine Scale Mail protects you from critical hits, reducing overall damage and imposing a significant debuff on foes who try to hit us in melee. Since we won't be using a shield, our armor class may be on the lower side, yet this can be compensated by using a Ring of Protection and a Cloak of Protection. Just be cautious not to be caught by Karlach while attempting to liberate druids of their idol. Regarding alchemical choices, if you are not using Strength Elixir, consider the Viciousness Elixir or the Colossus one, and just before the battle, apply the coating of choice to your weapon to save your busy bonus action for more thrilling maneuvers. This includes activating Rage, performing an additional Great Weapon Master attack, using Misty Step, utilizing Inquisitor's Might, and invoking Vow of Enmity. Karlach's journey in Baldur's Gate 3 is a testament to the blending of two distinct paths, that of a barbarian and a paladin. What do you think? Is this a way to create her lore-friendly build, or should she stick to full barbarian levels? Or maybe her infernal legacy can be reflected with the Warlock Pact of the Blade multiclass? Let us know in the comments. And let me tell you, if you get this far in the video, you guys are amazing and seem to enjoy the content, so hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and most importantly, subscribe for more exciting content. And don't forget to check out my previous video where we explored the crossbow expert build for Lae'zel in Baldur's Gate 3. Until next time, friends!